Yeah, the sounds of screeching tires and revving engines making some Ogden residents a little nervous.
As some Ogden residents complain about all this reckless driving and street racing, one North Ogden resident thinks he might have a solution to the problem. Haley Crumbleholm live for us near a closed racetrack. And Haley, he's trying to solve the street racing issue.
Yeah, that's right. So I'm actually on a street where he used to spend a lot of time. This street used to be home to the Rocky Mountain Raceway. And the man that I spoke with thinks that more places like this track could pull people off of the street. So he's trying to do something about it.
Through high school, we always had Rocky Mountain Raceway. We'd go down to the midnight drags.
Russell Taylor has been around racing a long time. Today, he even has a racing app, Drag Links Racing.
We didn't do a whole lot of racing or goofing around on the street because we could go get it out of our system. We'd blow our fuel budget down there.
And he's been following some of the recent reporting 2 News has been doing into resident concerns in Ogden about reckless driving and street racing on North Monroe Boulevard.
I get why they do it here. What I don't get is why Ogden City won't do something about it.
When we heard from Lane Bettis earlier this week, he suggested removable speed bumps could be the solution.
If you just put those randomly every 300 yards.
But when we checked in with City Engineer and Public Services Deputy Director Justin Anderson, he mentioned some drawbacks.
Putting permanent speed bumps on the roadway can lead to people, having, snow plows hitting them in the winter, other people not realizing they're there and hitting them.
He says the city has taken steps like reducing the number of lanes and adding bike lanes, but residents have videos showing the problem persists. And Taylor is hoping maybe his new nonprofit could help.
It's quite a feat, to convince the IRS that building racetracks is a charity, but the way we do that is by filling the gap between industry and government.
Taylor points out anyone can go out and buy a drag car heavy on horsepower, but they might not have somewhere to really drive it.
The police have put these laws into place, which are great. I'm a dad and a husband. The last thing I want is somebody running into my wife and kids. But you can see it from the other side where there's not an appropriate facility for them.
And he sees building racetracks as a possible solution.
So us being able to provide the appropriate facility bridges that gap between the industry and the government, and hopefully avoid some criminal records being made. And then the biggest thing is to ease the burden on the government. We don't want the police chasing our kids around. Let's give them an appropriate place to do it.
Now, I did reach out to the Ogden Police Department to see if they thought this idea could work, maybe cut back on some of the street racing, but they weren't able to provide comment. When we spoke with them earlier this week, they say they have been taking steps on that street in Ogden, trying to crack down on some of the problems there. They say they've added cameras and extra patrols. Live in West Valley, Haley Crumbleholm, KUTV 2 News.
All right, Haley, thank you very much. And we wanted to know where you think amateur car enthusiasts should actually race. You can answer the poll question by scanning the QR code on your screen. You can also find it on our website. Just go to KUTV.com.